Hi, my name's Trish Muller and this is my video submission for Assessment 2, SPE205 Biomechanics. In this assessment, I am critiquing technology as well as a movement. The technology we'll dial in on is called Coach Now, and the movement is an Olympic lift or weightlifting lift called the snatch. The reason I chose Coach Now technology is that I believe it should be utilised within weightlifting, as it provides the coach and the athlete the opportunity to really dissect the phases of each part of the lift to improve the efficacy of how that athlete moves the bar from the ground and then how they also manoeuvre themselves underneath to stand. The snatch essentially involves taking the bar from the ground to the overhead position in one movement. It can be performed anywhere from 2 to 4 seconds and is a highly complex movement when we dive into the kinematic analysis. Having the lift recorded and then the tools to analyze different phases of the movement helps the athlete to understand what they're feeling and helps the coach to influence movement patterns with effective cueing and analysis right at that pinpoint moment when something has gone wrong in the position of the athlete that's resulted in either a failed rep or one that just didn't quite feel right. As an athlete and coach, I've personally played around with a few different apps providing similar functions, and have definitely found that Coach Now has been a super simple version that's both user-friendly and ticks all the boxes for those quick, grabby, useful feedback points that you really need during your rest period, so you can make that slight adjustment and nail the next rep. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dive into some of the advantages that I see with this particular tech. The first one being that it's really mobile. You can take the tech anywhere the athlete wants to train. You can also take it anywhere or in any environment that both athlete and coach wish to review the content. There's no specific setups of machine or expensive kit associated with the tech in comparison to other motion capture or kinematic analysis technology. It's not distracting to the user. Once it's set up, they just focus on lifting, and the tech itself can be utilized across various sports. As I mentioned before, it's super user-friendly and is a quick, easy reference for an athlete to use during their rest periods. The tech can either be used on your computer or you can download an app to your iPhone or iPad. So if you're not wanting to clog up your phone with another app, just simply record it with your phone or with a camera, and then you can just transfer that to your computer later on. All right, so what you see on the screen there is what it looks like when you go into your computer, also similar on your app. So here's one of the functions I wanted to dial in on. One of many is the ability to put in lines and shapes. So this line that I've drawn on the screen is just indicating the bar path. So the direction that we want the bar to travel in, or roughly that we want the bar to travel in from start to finish on the lift. Lines and shapes can be utilized for various things. Some other things that I've used them with is assisting the athlete in where they're to jump their feet, and also just drawing their attention to weight distribution when they're driving through the ground to hit triple extension. Okay, the next feature I want to draw your attention to is the angles of segments. So through thorough kinematic analysis of weightlifters, it's been identified that when an athlete sets up in certain positions and moves throughout the snatch with certain angles of hip, knee and ankle joint, also shoulder and arm relation to where the bar is and where they're gripping, we see more successful lifts with an increase in load as the athlete's able to manipulate their center of mass to maneuver under the bar after hitting triple extension. So the numbers that you're seeing up on the screen are just drawn from that. I haven't gone through the entire lift, but it gives you an idea on what we can achieve with this tool. Just quickly to extend on movement analysis there, most failed lifts do occur from when the athlete starts to generate force leaving the ground to driving the knees back and efficiently keeping that bar over center of mass. couple of other features we'll look at now is the comparing of lifts and having a timing feature on the screen as well. So obviously with the comparing of lifts, it gives us that opportunity to have the live feedback of the previous lift, followed by coaching points, the athlete making those minor adjustments, and then we can see the efficacy of how that's looked on their next lift. The timing feature enables us to track the duration of the phase at a very basic level of analysis. Obviously, knowing the faster an athlete can move the bar off the ground to receive will indicate an increase in power of that athlete and improvement of that athlete. Okay, we're going to move away from the features now. There's a whole heap more going on with Coach Now, and they've got them embedded in all different memberships. A really cool thing that they do offer, though, if you're not wanting to pay anything, is they offer a free version, and that free version provides adequate access to a broad range of functions. So you're able to achieve everything that we've gone through there and more. Okay, a couple of other advantages I see with this technology is that with that kinematic analysis, it can assist the athlete and the coach with injury prevention. The coach is also able to assess different levers, like a long femur or torso will result in an athlete setting up differently for the start position of the snatch, and in turn the angles through each phase of the lift will vary to the other athletes that have shorter limbs or shorter torsos. As we saw with the ability to put that line there, or even without the line, we're able to capture the visual bar trajectory. So the example of poor form in an athlete requiring small steps to correct that balance on the receive. Okay, so there's a lot of advantages there. There are some disadvantages though when I compare this technology to other technology out there. The first one being what I finished on there, and that is barbell trajectory. So with no direct, where other applications enable you to lock onto the barbell and they actually track bar path, they give you a clear and accurate run of where that bar is tracking so that you can work out any vertical or horizontal displacement of the bar. You can visually see that. However, if we, depending on the athlete or the purpose of analysis, we might want that as a feature. Unlike other apps or other tech, this tech won't provide specific velocity and acceleration data. The kinematic analysis isn't as extensive. So for some athletes or organisations, they may require further analysis of varying differences of the hip, knee and ankle joints. So particularly with those joints, as we're taking the bar off the ground, going into triple extension, and that's just having an open hip, knee and ankle joint. It's not a case of those joints just opening up. There is, after the first pull, we do see them decrease and increase again. Extending on that, this particular tech doesn't automatically identify joints and link to them. So the human variable exists where we're relying on the accuracy of placing that drawing in the correct position. So that angle that you saw on my screen earlier. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and pull apart the last bit of movement analysis for the snatch. So initially we look at snatch setup. We can apply Newton's first law of inertia here. The barbell will remain where it is unless we produce the right amount of force to move it. So in turn, the greater the load, as we start to increase the load on the bar, the greater force production that we're going to need to produce. Moving through the first pull, second pull to triple extension, or however it's named depending on what text you're reading, we consider Newton's second law and compare acceleration with mass. We can link movement mechanics with time delays to identify potential performance dysfunction relating to strength, mobility, or coordination of the athlete. We then move to pull under the bar and transition to a strong lockout position, holding the bar up overhead where we find ourselves in an overhead squat position. Sometimes the athlete may jump the bar too high and then waste energy lowering down into the squat position. By utilizing this type of technology, we can capture that. Then we can work on different drills to improve either the coordination, speed, or confidence of the athlete. Thanks for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the video and that it provided some insight into how effective Coach Now Tech can be when we analyze biomechanics in the snatch.